you all. ASSOCHAM Council for Green and Eco-Friendly Movement, in collaboration with Indian Society of Lighting Engineers, present a webinar with technology trends in lighting automation. ASSOCHAM, as you know, is the oldest apex chambers of India, which started in 1920, having in its fold from more than 80 national councils, national and state chambers, trade associations. It serves more than 4 lakh direct and indirect MSME members from all over India. It executes GEM Green Building Council program certifications for the sustainable design and development of the buildings and related commitments. The objective is to ensure future buildings move towards environment-friendly methods of design, construction, and operations. This program includes sustainability, energy and water efficiency, fire and life safety, indoor air quality management, daylight, fresh air, and thermal comforts. We are in alignment with SDG, all the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. We are working towards that. And when you talk about energy efficiency, of course, lighting industry comes into picture, right? And when lighting industry comes into picture, Indian Society of Lighting Engineers are there to showcase its presence. This is the 12th collaborative webinar by ASSOCHAM and ISLE. During this time of the epidemic, we made a series of webinars and under energy efficiency and different various aspects of lighting efficiencies. We have Dr. Prakash Barjatya with us. Dr. Prakash Barjatya is an honorary member of ASSOCHAM, National Council for Green and Eco-Friendly Movement. He's the Director of Education and Training, ISLE. He said they're responsible for 6 months e-certification courses in basics of lighting and illumination during COVID 2020, which was pretty successful. He has more than 20 years of experience in design, development, implementations, training and maintenance of quality management, environmental management, laboratory management, and you call it all. Dr. Barjatya worked with the Central Institute of Road Transport at MIT Group of Institutes, Pune. He is also an honorary member of ASSOCHAM National Council for Green and Eco-Friendly Movement, GEM program, as I already mentioned it. Please welcome Dr. Prakash Barjatya. Over to you also.
Thank you, Mr. Shubhabat. I'm audible?
Yeah, pretty well.
Okay. Thank you very much for the nice words. And I would again welcoming all the participants and of course today's speaker, Mr. Biju John. He is expert. Of course, you listen about him subsequently. But I welcome all. And as Mr. Subha said rightly, that India has to move and electronics. And lighting is a part of electronics. You know, so far lighting used to be considered as only either bulb lights. This scene was there till few years back. In fact, I remember when our first integrated techno manager program, industry oriented, was started in the year 2007. The parents and the students used to ask, because it was a 2 years PG program. So they used to wonder, are going to teach in 2 years. Only there are two things, either the bulb or the tube lights. So this was the scene about 10 years back. But with the oncoming of the, it has become so, I will say, universal that now, in fact, you cannot imagine anything without lighting or without lighting rays. Even your mobile, which everybody is having, it also runs on the electromagnetic waves. They are nothing but the lighting waves. So this is what the scope of the lighting, and I'm happy to share that ASSOCHAM gave us an opportunity to join with them, and then we are trying to bring awareness. You know, our efforts is only to bring awareness about the right type of light for right purpose, rather, as you can say, healthy light for the proper application. So with this, I would to share about the IC. Just share.
It is appearing, sir. It is appearing. अभी आ रहा है, sir.
Slowly.
It is appearing, sir. Meanwhile,
yes,
yeah.
thank you,
Meanwhile,
sir.
you can switch off your video, sir. You can switch off your video, so it will improve the quality.
Yeah. Just a minute.
It is there now, sir. Make it full screen.
Okay. It is there now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So welcoming to ISLE, Indian Society of Lighting Engineers, which is an body which has completed 37 years. It is the professional body of scientists, engineers, architects, academicians, researchers, designers, students, and all others interested in the subject of. I would like to elaborate that if you can see here, it covers almost all segments of individuals, those who are interested in the field of lighting. So please don't go with the word at the ISLE lighting engineers only. Our membership is open for anybody who has got interest in the subject of lighting. So this is what the background. Then our aims and objectives is the, as I said in the beginning, it also to bring awareness about the art, science, and practice of lighting technology, advancing education research, lighting technology, promoting lighting goals, maintaining liaison, cooperation with the BIS, and providing guidance to young engineers for career improvement. Our vision, first vision, National Lighting Code. I hope some of you may be aware that there are different codes are there in the country as a guiding documents. Similarly, for lighting also, there is a National Lighting Code which is published by the Bureau of Indian Standards, or ISI, what we call roughly. So ISLE is a part of that. It was developed out 10 years back, and now it is under review by even that is being done by another. Our next step is the setting up a National Lighting Center or Center of Excellence. Also, we are trying to get certification for lighting designers like NCQLP in USA. Those you aware about USA. In USA, if anybody wants to practice as a lighting designer, he or she has to pass the examination which is known as NCQLP. Similar lines, ISLE is trying to now put our efforts. Skill development, awareness, and also the conducting different level programs. We are operating throughout the country through 7 state centers, 4, and apart from them, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka. Like that, 7 state centers are there. Then we have got the local centers at number of places, including Bhubaneswar, Guwahati, Pune, Hyderabad. So these are the local centers are there. Then we have got a provision for the student chapters also. We are working in close association with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Bureau of Indian Standards, and Ministry of Power, and also with the international affiliations like IES, ISNA, North America, Institution of Lighting Engineers, UK, Lux Pacifica, IES, and the SAR countries. The team is being led. We are proud to say the team is being led by Mr. Dilip Kumar, who is the president of National President of ISLE. He is also the CEO of K-Light Group of Industries in the field of lighting. To the right, we have got Dr. Mandal, who is the Honorary General Secretary. And then we have got Mr. Mukherjee, who is the Vice President, and Mr. Bala Subramaniam, who is the Honorary Treasurer. Then with these office bearers, we have got a provision of the different pairs for the different activities, and also other members, those who are looking after different activities in different areas. As I mentioned, this is the main activity, National Lighting Code, which is under revision, and otherwise has been also submitted to BIS for its approval, which is going on. Similarly, as Mr. Ashok already mentioned that during COVID, we took an opportunity and to start a e-certificate course, which was very much successful with 63 lectures by eminent speakers, not only from India, but also from the world, with 76 participants. It was conducted successfully by Mr. Kamal Setia, Chairman Center, and myself. Also conducted during academic only computer-aided lighting design course lectures. Another very important activity which did that we have submitted a ISLE position statement on germicidal ultraviolet irradiation because during epidemics, a lot of parts were being sold in the market products. So just to make sure this has been submitted to the government for BIS for making a safety standards. We are happy to share July 15th, ASSOCHAM and ISL signed MOU to work together in the field of bringing awareness field of lighting. And I'm happy to share 11 lectures have been conducted successfully in the field of lighting, and today is the 12th lecture in that series. Similarly, published a magazine which is known as Light India International once in 2 months, which is available e-copies. As I mentioned, that our main role is bringing awareness through education. So starting from 1993 till date, I see is involved in the different institutes for promoting the different level, including certificate course, diploma course, degree course, even postgraduate course also. Then another activity is the promoting to the future lighting professionals. So we got a provision of chapter, and which we got 17 institute chapters throughout the country. The provision that with minimum number of 25 students, any college can start a student chapter in their college, which that they will get the benefit that exposure on the subject of lighting activities, projects, placement, and discount in events organized supported by ICL, and also e-copy of ICL newsletter. There is a very minimum fees if you compare any other professional body. This is the fees and charges are there, which are very minimal. So those who are not members, we will request them please come join hands with ISLE so that with that we get enlightened. So welcome to the world of lighting. Let us interact. Thank you. Over to Mr. Shubh.
Thank you, Mr. Barjatia. So the myth is over. It's definitely not about tubes and bulbs only. There are so many things to talk about, academics and MOUs. There are lighting code is going on. Thank you for that presentation and for illuminating us, Mr. Barjatia. So we have with us today eminent speaker,
yes,
Mr. Biju John.
Yes.
Mr. Biju John is the CEO of ITV's Innovations Private Limited. He is the founder of Rosni Bazaar. He has been part of the Indian lighting industry for more than 25 years. He is one of the well-known techno-commercial professional and creative entrepreneurs with strong leadership track record. Mr. John is having extensive experience and knowledge in lighting, automations, UV systems. He is a relationship builder with extremely large industry network. He is a well-traveled person. He has a good global exposure. And you can find Rosni Bazaar on internet. It's India's first exclusive e-commerce portal for lighting industry, and he is going to illuminate us with lighting efficiencies design. He's currently handling intelligent lighting and automation business through his firm, IT Innovations Private Limited, which is hybrid partner of ASSOCHAM, a Germany company. So, welcome, Mr. Biju. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rath. Thank you for welcoming. It's really, let me thank ASSOCHAM for selecting the most relevant subject, which is the technology trends in lighting. And everybody is looking for something in terms of emerging technology, and it's the right time to talk about trends. What is happening in lighting? What is happening in automation? Sustainability is a major subject which each and every industry is now looking at. So I have a presentation for today where we will discuss in terms of opportunities for emerging technologies and its applications, sustainability, and possibilities for energy saving. So let me share my screen where we can start with the presentations. Okay, I hope all can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, all right. So today's subject, technology trends in lighting automation. So when we start the technology trends in lighting automation, first and foremost, we must understand the role of sensors. and the power of sensors. There is no automation without sensors. And most of this automation we can even start doing by using standalone sensors. So today we will address various subjects in terms of sensor technology. Number one, switching automation, a standalone sensor technology which can be used for switching automation, one of the major applications for lighting automation. Dimming automation, scene controls and mood lighting, we will discuss how it can be achieved by simply using standalone sensors in terms of lighting automation. We will discuss on BMS, building management system, and the role of sensors and controls in building management system. Whether it is Knx or Dali, Dali 2, we will discuss about that today. And one of the latest and emerging technology, I would say, it's going to be the latest innovation, which is Dali 2 standalone sensors. And we have a subject called UVGI, which is nothing but ultraviolet germicidal irradiation. How we are going to control by using some of the sensors and the control system. And how can we close the day without addressing the most relevant subject, which is human-centric lighting automation and the role of sensors and controls in human-centric lighting automation. So the power of sensors, we will go one by one. First, let's see how a simple sensor can be used for demand-driven lighting. And what's demand-driven lighting? 19% of India's total power consumption is used for lighting, huge amount of energy. If we can do something to save some part of that energy, of course, there starts the sustainability. We can save it for next generation and we can give it back to the universe where someone else can use it. So demand-driven lighting is nothing, but the light should be on only when it is demanded for. So we can use two technologies for this purpose. Number one, PIR technology. And what is PIR? It's passive infrared technology. Simple standalone sensors can be used for automating our lighting switching on and off systems. And the other technology is called the high frequency technology. You have various names for this high frequency. You can call it as RF, radio frequency. Some people call it as microwave, Doppler. There are many names for this technology. But if you categorize it, there are two things. One is PIR, passive infrared, and high frequency sensors. So what this sensors does? Very simple. Just take out your TikTok conventional switch and use an automated sensor and connect all your lighting system to that sensor. It acts as an automated switch. So whenever someone walks into the room, I'm talking about indoor lighting automation by using simple on-off sensor. When someone walks inside the room, the sensor detects the movement of that thermal body. If it is a PIR technology, it should be at the line of sight. The person should move at the line of sight, and it detects the thermal body moving because human body is having hot blood. When the thermal body moves, the detection happens, and the on-off relay, which is inbuilt into the sensor, activate the power supplies to the lighting fixtures, and lighting fixtures gets on. And you know one thing, one simple sensor can connect up to 2000 watt of lighting load, sometimes 2300 watt of lighting load. So it's very simple. One sensor can take care of the entire room, maybe major part of the floor for switching automation. This can be used for lights on off. There is one more technology which is called plus sensor technology. And what is plus sensor? So here we were talking only about switching on and off of lights. And the second option is, how about switching air conditioner and fans also? Wow, huge amount of energy saving, and it's demand driven lighting. Just imagine if there is no one in the room, why the AC should work, why the AC should consume a lot of power. You know how much power is consumed by AC, air conditioner. And there are standalone sensors available which can control, one channel can control lighting up to 2000 watt of lighting load, and the other channel can control AC or fan. One standalone sensor can do a lot of miracles. It can save a lot of energy. Now, there are technologies which comes with a masking arrangement as well. The days are gone where we used to do all this type of waves just to get a detection. Now the technology is so advanced, standalone sensor technology is so advanced, it comes with a mask. Most of the sensors comes with a mask. And what is the use of this mask? Just imagine, take a case of an office room where one side the staff is sitting, the cubics are there, and there is a passage in between. Just imagine a case, a sensor, automated sensor is installed on the cubic, just above the cubic where the staffs are working, and someone is and nobody is there, the lights are off, and if someone is walking on the passage, the 360 degree detection of this sensor will detect the person who is moving through the passage and lit up the lights which is at the cubics, which we don't want. So there comes the importance of masking. You can mask the PIR sensor and get exactly the detection what you are looking for. Now, one important terms in terms of standalone on-off sensors, I would like to mention over here is about 3 different zones. Very, very important in terms of sensor technology. Very few knew about it. A sensor, when you install a sensor, it comes with a lot of detection area. You know, you can see the specification: 6 meter, 8 meter, 12 meter, 20 meter, up to 40 meter sensors we were using. So it doesn't mean that, you know, the detection is going to happen for the 40 meter, for the entire 40 meter. Let's see the case of an 8 meter sensor. Now there are 3 different zones which you could see over here. The red zone, which is only 4 meter, is called present zone. So even a small movement like this, you are typing on your laptop, that movement can get detected on this present zone if you are using a PIR sensor. But it's only 4 meter in case of an 8 meter sensor. And the next layer, which you could see in dark gray over here, is called heads on zone. It means at least this much movement is required to get the detection. And the third area, this 8 meter, the whole detection area which is mentioned in the specification is called the wave zone. It means if you're walking or if you are sitting at this wave zone, possibly you may need to do this to get the detection. So here comes the importance of sensor location. So very few knew about it. Sensor location during the installation is very, very important. So when you install a sensor, which you can use for demand-driven lighting, you must take care and you must ensure that the presence area is exactly coming where the sensor is installed, so that the user should not do the waves and all when he is operating the office. A very good idea for energy saving option. Now this was only about the indoor part of it. What about the outdoor lighting? Can we automate it by using a standalone sensor? Yes, my dear friends. There are 2 technologies available. One is called dusk to dawn. Of course, when the sunset is there, when there is a darkness, the lights will be automatically on. And when the sunrise comes in, or when there is enough light, the light will be automatically off. There are 2 different technology which is trending in the market. One is inbuilt dusk to dawn, and the other one is wall mount dusk to dawn. What the sensors does, it automatically switch on and switch off the light. And where is the application? Think about your housing society where you stay. All your lights can be controlled by this on-off timer dusk to dawn twilight switches. The street lights, the panel board of your street lights, these type of inbuilt sensors can be put over there. Huge amount of energy saving. Only when there is a darkness, the lights will be on. Otherwise, the light remains shut. I should appreciate the European technology companies, like this particular technology is from the company EasyLens, where we are also working very closely. The technology is called Diffuser technology. You know, a small sensor can do wonders. This sensor, why it is called diffuser, I will mention about that, the technology, why it is called diffuser technology. The sensor is having a dusk-to-dawn sensor inside it, which means if you connect all your area lighting, maybe your garden lights, maybe the outside lights outside of your industry, maybe the cooperative society, maybe your campus, all this outside light can be connected to this diffuser sensor, which is mounted on the wall. What happens is when there is a darkness outside, the lights will be on. And there is one more parameter which you can do over here in this sensor is you can set the timer also, timing also. How you are going to set the timing, for example, again take the case of your housing society. You want the lights to be on when the children are playing or someone is moving around, but that stops at 9:30 or 10. So you want all the lights to be off at 10 o'clock because we don't want to consume a lot of energy. Finally, we are going to pay the energy cost. So what you can do is you can set the timing of 10 o'clock over here in this sensor. It means even if it is darkness, of course, at 10 o'clock night, it is darkness. But even if it is darkness, the sensor will switch off the light because the timer says I need to switch off the light at 10 o'clock. Now, there comes the third advantage. This sensor is having a motion sensor also inbuilt. I'm talking about all these three technology in one sensor. One standalone sensor, no controller, no complication, no integration, nothing. Now, the motion sensor over here, what it does, just imagine again the case of I'm going back to your housing society again. Up to 10 o'clock, all the lights were on because dusk to dawn operates the lights on and off. Because of the timer, it shut the light at 10 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock early morning, some unwanted guest jumped into your garden. You know what will happen? This motion sensor is having a detection area of 40 meters. It detects the movement and the lights will be on. Wow. People are not expecting, the unwanted guests who just jumped into your compound were not expecting all the lights are on. And definitely he can make out that lights are on because somebody saw me. That's why it's called diffuser. It defends, it take care of your property, take care of your area. At the same time, it saves a lot of energy. And finally, there is one more technology inbuilt into this. If somebody tried to break this glass, I mean, the burglar who just got in, the product looks like CCTV, and he thought it is a CCTV. So he tried to break that glass. What happened? All the lights will be on. All the lights will be on. A very, very latest and emerging technology available in the market. So I just want to show you what are the possibilities where you can start your lighting automation by using a simple sensor and save a lot of energy. And that too, I have calculated for many industries the payback. The payback is even as low as 6 months. Wow. So if you can take out all your TikTok switches and go for this automation, even the payback is 6 months, 7 months. And one important thing during this pandemic, because of this automation, what? Hygiene switching. I was working on a hospital project where they made it very, very clear. We don't want anyone to touch the switch to switch on the light and fans. We made it. We said no more switches. Everything will be automated through this on-off sensors. You have an AC? Yes, we will go for plus sensor. You have only lights? Yes, we go for PIR sensor. You have parking area? Yes, we go for high frequency sensors. It's very simple. And what about your garden lights and other street lights? We will go for diffuser. Standalone sensor, the entire building is automated. Okay, let me go to the second technology. Second technology is called daylight harvesting and dimming. Now, imagine the same room, what we were discussing in terms of lighting. Somebody is sitting and operating on his laptop or her laptop. Natural light is coming in and the lights are still on. What a waste of energy. You can use a sensor, standalone sensor over here, the latest technology I'm talking about. If 50% of the light is coming through the window, what the sensor will do is the sensor will give a command to the light and the light will get dimmed. This technology is called Dali broadcast technology. Dali stands for Digital Addressable Lighting Interface. What happens is, so this sensor, if you install and if you connect with the fixtures, I mean, one sensor is enough to connect 25 Dali fixtures. And the sensors are again available in terms of, I think, 8 meter, 24 meter, even up to 32 meter, these type of sensors. When I'm saying meter, it's the detection area in diameter. 360 degrees is the detection area. And this can do the switching on off. Of course, when there is a person, the lights will be on. When there is nobody, the lights will be off, which is called switching on off. And when there is light coming in, some part of the light is coming through natural, from natural lighting. So the products, the luminous will be dimmed and save a lot of energy. And what is orientation lighting? You know, very good application in terms of lighting automation is, take the case of a hotel lobby. You don't want darkness over there, right? Because you want at least some level of illumination over there. A lift lobby, hospital passages, office passages. You don't want darkness if there is no occupancy of nobody is moving. There comes the orientation light. You know what is orientation light? Once you set this orientation lighting percentage, what the sensor will do is, if it doesn't find anyone for a set delay time, instead of switching off the light, it will go for a dimming of light to the extent of what you ask the sensor to do. I mean, for example, you kept an orientation light of 20%. What will happen? The lift lobby, nobody is there for 10 minutes. The light will get dim to 20% and it remain there. So if somebody walks in after half an hour or 1 hour, the sensor could see that somebody is walking in and it lit up the lights to 100%. So the dimming level is taken up to 100%. See the amount of energy saving what we are getting. And there are provisions. Technology allows you to use you know, the normal IR remote also, if at all you want to manually override this type of dimming and all. This is again about the indoor office and shops and home and all applications. Now, different variety of sensors are available in the market. I'm discussing on the technology part of it, what all type of sensors are available where you can go for the daylight harvesting and dimming. Now, let's take the case of an industry. You know, look at the industrial shed like this. Most of the industries these days, I'm a frequent visitor to most of the industries nearby, and I normally see that you know, this type of daylight harvesting is done in most of the industries. This is a good example of energy saving. They use plain sheets and get the daylight coming in. But the unfortunate part is, the daylight is of course coming in, but the lights are on. Because there is a habit, if someone switch on the MCB or if someone switch on the light remain always off. There comes the dimming technology. What you should do is, to automate this type of industry, what you should do is take a dimming high bay. I mean, for example, you already have a high bay. Let's assume like that you already have a LED high bay, which is of non-dimming. You need to switch it on and switch it off. What you can do is, you can even go for a retrofit options. Take out the driver of this high bay and use an analog dimmable driver. There are a lot of analog dimmable drivers available, which doesn't cost much. 1 to 10 volt dimming. And use a sensor for many number of high bays. I think one sensor can take care of even up to 2000 watt of lighting load. And you use one sensor for many high bays. What will happen, you know, this sensor automatically measure the lux level under the sensor. You know, you can even mount the sensor on a 6 meter, 10 meter, 12 meter like that. And the detection is huge. It's 32 meter, 40 meter, 24 meter detection. And what it will do, the sensor will do automation, you know, it always measure the lux level. And if enough lux is coming through this daylight, it will not allow the fixture to be on. And if only a certain percentage of light is coming through this daylight, it only allows the fixture to consume certain amount of energy to lit up 10% or 20%. Look at the energy saving. I have seen in warehouses, as per the insurance norm, there is a requirement in warehouses. If you really want to go for a fire claim or anything, you need to make sure that the lights are on. So what normally people does is, they keep the lights always on. And these lights are of 200 watt, 150 watt high bay. Think about the energy saving over there. Use the sensors like this. You can have always, you can have the light, but at a dim level. Just imagine a 200-watt highway is consuming only 10%, which is 20 watt. And only if someone is walking in, the brightness will be 100%. Huge amount of energy saving. I have seen in warehouses where we use the sensors, 71% of energy saving is also was evident because it was always on. Now it is only consuming 10% of the energy. Otherwise, if someone walks in, it consumes 100% of the energy. Latest technology. And there also you have a remote which you can override. Always the automation can be override by using the remote. So we were talking about two different technology. One is demand driven lighting by using standalone sensor, and second is dimming and daylight harvesting by using Dali broadcast technology and 1 to 10 volt dimming technology. Now this is a champion. This is really a champion. Dali Duo. You know, there was a time when we used to pay lakhs of rupees, 100,000s of rupees just to automate one conference room. Here comes the champion, one standalone sensor, more than enough to control your entire conference room. It can connect your projector, it can connect your AC, it can connect your fan, it can connect your blind, it can connect all your lights. One standalone sensor. There can be various type of various push buttons if at all you really want to manually override it, and you can replace this push button with a IR remote as well. 25 numbers of light fixtures can be connected, Dali fixtures, and 25 numbers of Dali fixtures on the other side, 50 numbers of Dali fixtures in one sensor. And if you don't have that much of 50 numbers of Dali fixtures, you can take out certain Dali channels and use a Dali relay over there and connect your projector. Use another Dali relay and then connect your AC. Why Dali relay? Because this sensor communicates in Dali language, which is a protocol. And if the device doesn't have a Dali interpreter, it may not be able to accept the communication. So whenever you use a non-Dali, the fixtures are luminous or anyway Dali luminous because you wanted to have a dimming for that. And here you can use a Dali relay. Wow. One sensor more than enough for a wide area of office, wide area of conference room. And these sensors are now used in home automation also. Come on. What this sensor is going to do in home automation. Standalone sensors are used in home automation these days, and these type of homes are called Dali homes. Dali homes. What you can do is take the case of your living room, where you wanted to have some mood. You wanted to watch TV, you need to have a different mood. You wanted to discuss some serious matter among the family members, you want to have a different mood. You want to read newspaper or book, you want to have a different mood. How you can create all this mood? By using a simple standalone sensor. Go for Dali Duo, the latest technology. What you can do is design your living room in such a way that one channel is of your warm color and one channel is of your cool white color. And you know these two push buttons. These two push buttons, you can create the scenes and whatever tunable color you want. You can mismatch the level of dimming level in channel 1 and channel 2 and create a mood. Come on, I'm going to watch a movie. I just want to have a dim light at a warm color. You can do that by using these two push buttons or maybe a remote. Home automation simplified by using single sensor. Now it's used for office automation. It's used for classrooms. Currently, I'm doing a project in one of the Indian Institute of Management, IIM, where the classrooms are automated by using this one sensor. One line is given to the professors where the professor stands on the stage area and the other line is given to the students area. So whenever the professor wants to have a presentation on the projector, he take the remote and then he dim the lights over there, but still the lights at the students area, it's at 100%. You can have automation. So my point over here is, you don't need to go for all complex solutions to automate your lighting and other systems. It's very simple nowadays. That's what technology is advanced. Technology can do all these wonders. You don't need to go for a complete control system to control the automation of your office or classrooms or meeting rooms, anything like that. And it works on Dali. Okay, now moving forward. The BMS sensors and BMS technology. What is BMS? BMS is nothing but a building management system. And what is the role of sensors over here? I'm sure many of you might heard about the building management system which is working on Knx protocol. Knx is nothing but a protocol. So that the complex wiring or the architecture what you see over here is not so complex. It's very simple. I'll explain you. The Knx automation, the building management system architecture is something like this. What you will have is just a router and a Knx power supply. A Knx power supply and a Knx bus which is going. This is the power supply which is going through various Knx devices. So Knx device means the device can understand the language of Knx, which is coming from the web browser or software or whatever the user interface which you have. Now, what happens is, take the case of a complete building. This is another way of automation. Take the case of a complete building where you wanted to use a Knx system. Why you are using that Knx system? Because you want to digitalize your building. You want to go for a building management system. Everything can be managed from your computer or from your mobile or anything. So you went for a Knx solution. So what it demands is, okay, we need to use all Knx interfaces because the command is coming in Knx language. So all my receiving hardwares should have a Knx receiver, which can understand Knx. So normally what people does is, they go for a actuator or gateway, a Knx Dali gateway. So here what you could see is a Knx Dali gateway. So what is that? This gateway is communicating with the Luminous in Dali language and communicating to the server in Knx language. It's called the gateway. I'm not mentioning all this complex building management system over here because building management system itself is a complete different subject. So today I just want to focus only on lighting management system, LMS. Now here I just want to mention about one important thing. In this Knx building management system, there is a role, big role of sensors. Big role for sensors. So this Knx basic and Knx mini sensor technology, what you could see over here, is a sensor which is used over this type of application. What this sensor does, if you use a sensor, Knx protocol sensor, if you use in the system, what will happen is this sensor will always tell if somebody is under me or not. This sensor will always tell the system what is the lux level under me. So what you can do is the algorithm what you are setting over here on the software can be based on the message which is coming from the Knx sensor. Now, I'm not stopping there. The latest technology in Knx sensor is called Knx Atmo. A wonderful product, a wonderful innovation, a wonderful technology. You know what this sensor does? It detects the presence, it detects the decimal acoustic, it sees the light level, it even go for a temperature, and it sees the humidity. It again go for air quality measurement as well. So all 6 parameters are measured by the sensor. The message is given to the server, and based on the algorithm which is already preset in the server, it can execute many commands. For example, if the VOC, volatile organic compound of your air, the room, the VOC, air quality of the room is above certain limit, which is already set on the server. What the server can go for is, it can send an alarm, or it can use some of the purification method automatically. So a lot of such things can happen if you use a building management system. Whether it is Knx or whether it is Dali, the sensors plays an important role over there. So this type of sensors is the Knx sensor, which is having various functionality. Now, the next is building management system through Dali. Now, before I get into the Dali building management system, let me explain what exactly this Dali is all about. DALI stands for Digital Addressable Lighting Interface. This is one term which generally used in lighting industry. It's nothing but a protocol which is used to communicate between certain things to the other things, maybe from a controller to ECG, electronic control gear or something. So this DALI standard is derived by a group, DIIA. It's nothing but Digital Illumination Interface Alliance. So they concluded on a standard which is called DALI years back. But this DALI standard was only for electronic control gears. That's why if you see the DALI standard, you can always see something mentioned like ECG, and ECG stands for electronic control gear. And these DALI standards were only for electronic control gear. And before LED, it was only for the fluorescent electronic control gear. These DALI standards were available. Now, when the LED came into picture, two type of LED drivers, LED DALI drivers are defined in DALI standard. Type number 1 is called DALI type 6. It is called DT6. That's the reason people are using, do you have a DT6 DALI driver or you have a DT8 DALI driver? That DT stands for DALI type. So DALI type 6 and DALI type 8. And what is the function of these two different type of DALI drivers? DT6 only do dimming, and DT8 can do dimming as well as the CCT tuning. CCT stands for correlated color temperature. So you can tune the colors. You can go for a tunable white. You can tune the color and then create a scene if you are using a DT8 driver. So DT6 and DT8. Now recently DIIA came up with the second version, 2.0 version of DALI standard, which is called DALI 2. Even the logo is different. Now, if you are going for a lighting management system in DALI, you must look into the logo, whether it is DALI 1.0 or DALI 2.0. DALI 2.0 is the latest standard. There is no much changes from the functionality point of view. Nothing wrong in using DALI 1 also. The functionalities are more of similar manner. But the changes what happened because of this standard addition is DALI 2 is it is now covering control gear, which is the ballast or driver, and it's also covering the application controller, and it's covering even the sensors. You see, the input device occupancy sensor, input device light sensor, and the standard now covers the bus power supply and the bus also. So whatever you could see over here, see the power supply is also covered in DALI 2 standard. Control devices like push button and sensors, input device occupancy and light level, sometimes both of these are similar. The sensors what we normally use is the similar, one sensor can take care of occupancy as well as the light level, and the application controller and the control gear. So if you really want to see the images, the real images of this product, this is the control gear, what you see over here, and this is the application controller, and the best power supply looks like something similar. There are various form factors, and the DALI addressable sensor. So there is a difference between DALI broadcast and DALI addressing. DALI broadcast is one-way communication, and DALI addressable is two-way communication. So what happens is, this is also covered in DALI 2 standard. Now days have gone where people used to fight each other. My control gear is good, your controller is not good. My controller is good, your control gear is not good. So that issue, compatibility issue, is not there in lighting management system nowadays after DALI 2 came into picture, because even the application controller is tested. Now, what happens? What is the whole architecture in lighting management system? In lighting management system, this control gear, which is a driver of a luminaire, can give messages to the application controller, and it can also receive commands from the application controller. What message this drivers gives in lighting management system? It gives the power consumption of that particular luminaire. It gives the dimming graph of that particular luminaire. It can even give the alerts in terms of my temperature is going exceeding the limit, or I am going to die in so many hours because my working condition is not good. So a lot of messages can go from this Dali driver to the controller. And what commands this controller gives to the Dali driver? Come on, there is no occupant under you, because the sensor gave me a message saying that there is no occupant in the room. You just go for an orientation light of 10%, or you just switch it off. The controller is the one who is giving command to Dali drivers. So, and what is the role of this bus power supply? It just power up the bus connections. So normally the length of this Dali bus is limited to 300 meters. So always, if you are using in a building management system, the lighting management system, if you are using Dali, I think Knx can even go up to 350 meters. That's a maximum. And Dali bus is used only up to 300 meters. And of course, there is a provision. You can even go for Dali repeaters if you really want to take this length of this Dali bus beyond 300 meters. Dali repeaters are also available. Now, you don't need to get confused. I'm making it very simple in terms of explaining Dali lighting management system. Just with their permission, I'm using the system architecture of Wago, Germany, who is one of the well-known brand in lighting management system. It's also from Europe. So this is the architecture, and this is a general architecture for a lighting management system. I took it just to explain because it is easy for me to explain. We are also using it. Now, what you see over here is a Dali multi-master. So in this lighting management system, in this automation structure, a Dali multi-master can connect 64 numbers of Dali luminaires plus 16 numbers of Dali sensors. So take the case of 3 different rooms and a passage. Let's take the room, take the case of a floor where, 3 or 30 rooms, whatever. So I just took 3 rooms, and 4 2x2s are there in each room. You need one sensor each in each room, which is Dali sensor, and you need to have Dali drivers in this luminaires. And all these luminaires and then sensors are connected to a controller called Dali multi-master, which is having a power supply, because that power supply will going through the bus also to power up the Dali devices, and it is connected to a gateway which is again powered by another power supply. And the gateway, what you could see over here, is 2 PoE port which is connected to your laptop or server or computer. Now, in this entire architecture, one good thing which happens is you can create 16 scenes and 16 groups. That means you can have various groups. For example, one light of this room and one light of this passage, you can create as one group and give some commands or some scheduling or some monitoring. You can always do. Data is available on your web browser. Data can be collected. Graphs are available. Fault alerts are available. Grouping, scenes, everything is available from the system. Recently, we proposed this for one of the Indian Institute of Management auditorium, where everything can be monitored and controlled through this type of lighting management system. So everything is controlled from the web browser. This works on Dali 2, one of the trending technologies in lighting automation. So we were discussing on on-off demand-driven lighting. We were discussing on dimming, daylight harvesting, standalone sensor. Then we went for the latest technology, which is called Dali Duo. One sensor for home automation, office automation, conference room automation. Then we have seen the sensors and controllers used for building management system by using Knx solution. Then now we are discussing on the lighting management system by using Dali 2 lighting management system. Now, one of the latest innovation happened in the industry few months back. I just want to bring it into limelight because this is going to be a revolution in lighting industry. One standalone sensor which replaces 3 components which we discussed right now. This champion sensor can replace the controller, it can replace the Dali sensor, it can replace the power supply. When I am saying it can replace, everything is inbuilt into a standalone sensor. And all the functionalities what we discussed on a lighting management system is available from the standalone sensor. Dali 2 standalone sensor, first of its kind, and the latest and emerging technology, which I really wanted to tell you about, which happened only few months before. And one important thing is this sensor is also listed in DIIA site, but as it is already Dali 2 certified sensor. What all things are there? You have a controller inside, you have a sensor, occupancy and light level sensor inside, and you have a power supply inside. So you don't need to go for all these complex things. And what you are going to get? The same effect of 16 groups, 16 scenes, and it is having a 4 buttons, push button, normal 40 rupees push button. You can recall the scenes what you want. You can go for a color changing, you can go for a dimming, daylight harvesting, grouping, everything is possible. And you don't need to go for a complex integration. I have seen in sometimes in some of the complex building management system, I have seen the application engineers are struggling days and days just to bring all the addressing and integration on their platform and make it easy for the user. Finally, they achieve it, but it's really a struggle for them. But this type of sensor, just plug and play, take your mobile, the groups are already read, you can read it, configurations can be read out, because it comes with a certain inbuilt setting, but the configurations can be read out. For example, which group is already created and what type of scenes you want to change. Just take your mobile, connect it through Bluetooth and change the configuration you want. Things is done. Complete lighting management system by using standalone sensor. I'm damn sure this technology, I personally, even after remaining in this industry for 27 years, I never seen this type of technology which has come up by using a standalone sensor. Recently, this is introduced in Europe and now it is available in India as well. Okay, so that's all about the standalone sensors and the building management system and the lighting management system which we discussed. And this slide is something of importance. We are still, in a pandemic, and the situation is very, very bad, at least for the Maharashtra region and Kerala region and many parts of the country and across the globe. We are still facing that pandemic. Now, my dear friends, there is a solution to come out from this virus. The solution is nothing but UVGI. It stands for Ultraviolet Germicidal Irradiation. It's a big subject. I'm sure many of you might have already attended few of my sessions which we did for ISLE, LACMA, and Messe Frankfurt, everywhere, almost all the platform we discussed in detail. This itself is a session for 3 hours. But let me tell you, this UVGI, ultraviolet germicidal irradiation, is something where UVC, the artificially created UVC normally comes from the electromagnetic spectrum of solar, but the UVC can be artificially created, and it is proven that 253.7 nanometer wavelength of UV energy can disrupt the DNA and RNA of viruses and bacteria. So of course, virus doesn't have a DNA, it's having an RNA. Bacteria is having a DNA. So when you apply 253.7 nanometer wavelength of UV energy, why we are addressing the subject over here is it's also a light, or it's an energy which is coming from a lamp. It's of course a part of our own industry where we take care of disinfection management. Let me tell you, the same project what I was mentioning about one of the Indian Institute of Management classroom, when we used the Dali Duo automation over there, we are using a UVC system for disinfecting the classroom. And what is disinfection all about? When the students are out, maybe for a recess time, we get 30 minutes empty space. And there is a control system, or there is a sensor, I would say, a simple sensor. This technology also came from Europe. 2-channel sensor. One channel will take care of general lighting when the students and professors are there. And when nobody is there at the room, maybe after 5 minutes, the UV lights will be on. The UV light, which is already installed on the ceiling, will be on, and it emits UVC rays at 253.7 nanometer wavelength. And we have a design criteria, design parameters. It's assumed or it is proved that if you are applying 241 joules per square meter, joule stands for, I think I'm not going too technical, but excuse me, but I need to mention this also over here. The dosage is in joules per square meter, and joule stands for watt second. So if you are applying 241 joules per square meter on the virus, it get the reproducing capability of that virus is gone. It's dead. So what we are doing is to disinfect that classroom. We are keeping the UV light on the ceiling, and when there is no one, the UV lights are on. You know, the why I'm addressing this subject over here is this is also a part of automation. You know, what type of automation? The automation is UV lights are harmful for human being, whereas UV lights can kill COVID virus. Now, we need to match these two. We need to apply UV light to kill the virus, but we don't want the UV light to harm the human being. That's where this sensor automation comes into picture. So the sensor take care of human being. If any human being is there in the room, the UV will not be on at all. And that too, the human being is not there for set delay time, say about 5 minutes. It still wait for further 5 minutes to start the UV light. You know, there are cases where we designed trial rooms of fashion houses or the retail showrooms. You know, the trial rooms are most highly, I would say, highly infected. There, what you can do is you can use this automation. 2-channel sensor, 1 channel for lighting. If someone is getting in, general lighting will be on. And if nobody is there, the UV lights will disinfect the area. And UV technologies are available in mercury, which is delivering 253.7, which is used since 90 years. This is used for disinfection. Recently, the UVC LED is also started popping up, and people are using. We are currently working on a automobile project where the automobile will be disinfected by using UVC LED. This is going to happen very soon. So 260 to 280 nanometer, if you apply, the entire room or whatever area, whether it is an automobile or room, you can disinfect the entire room. And there is one more technology. This is an excimer, which is called far UVC, which is not very harmful for human being. This is being tested on mouse and it's proven now, but now the testing on human being is also going on. 222 nanometer. It also can disrupt the DNA and RNA of the bacteria. So if you see, all or most of you are using UV lamps at your home. Wondering? Yes, you are using UV lamps at your home. The UV lamps are inbuilt into your water purifier. Don't try to break it, it is already there. So that does the job of disinfection of your water. It kills the bacteria and germs on the, inside the water, and it cleans the water, and the light, the pure water comes out. The sensor automatically turns on general lighting, and it disconnects the UV lights, and it on the UV light when there is nobody. And you can have complete building disinfection also by using a Dali control system. This is another part of automation. How it is done? Take the case of an industry office, or take the case of a 300 workstation or 500 workstation. We can install UVC LEDs or maybe UVC mercury lamps, depends on the aesthetic and the dosage calculation. And if there is no one, the Dali sensor can give a command, give an information to the controller, and controller can set a lot of algorithm, whether to give the dosage for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We can control the entire building disinfection by using Dali lighting automation. Okay, now the most important part of today's session. Before I close, there are 2 more slides, I believe. Before I close, I would like to mention about the latest technology in human-centric lighting automation, which is happening through PoE. PoE is another technology. PoE stands for power over Ethernet. And we all know that Ethernet cable, Cat6 cable, LAN cable, we so-called LAN cable, are always used for data transferring data from a server to some other device. But PoE stands for power over Ethernet. So we can power up the lights also by using the Ethernet cable. Look at this system. This is one of the latest trend or innovation available in the market in terms of lighting automation, which is called PoE plus Dali lighting automation. This is also again from and it's a European solution. I'm sure many Indians can look into this type of solutions, and if you are already working also, but this is one of the proven system available in the market. This is called Simpilogy. And what it does is, this particular PoE controller can connect all the lights on a PoE cable. You don't need to have an AC connection for these lights at all. The studio or the conference room right now I am sitting is under human-centric lighting. So all the lights fitted on the ceiling over here doesn't have an AC 230 volt wiring. It works on LAN cable because it's power over Ethernet. And what happens is this Simpilogy, it delivers a graph throughout the day. So I normally, this is my office. I use this office for at least 8 hours or 7 hours a day. If I'm here, if I'm not traveling, you know what happens? All my fixtures installed over here, which is human-centric fixture, behave like a sun, my dear friends. Behave like a sun. It delivers from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening. It delivers a certain graph. Again, you might heard circadian rhythm, which is related to the bioclock of human body. You know, there are two hormones which is always getting produced in our human body, which is called, one is called cortisol, which keeps us alert, and one is called melatonin, which keeps help us relax. Now, this combination of this cortisol and melatonin is very important, and the level of cortisol and melatonin is also very important, and the stimulation is happening only because of the message which is coming from the eyes. So when the eye sees a particular color, a certain amount of hormone is produced. So my dear friend, the balancing is always done based on the sunlight deliverance. So if I can create a sunlight like ambience in my office room, there are a lot of intangible benefit. We never feel stressed. You know, at the end of the day, still you are feeling cool and you have a calm and quiet working ambience because the color, it's called light conditioning. You know, we all are using air conditioners in our office. What about using a light conditioner? This is a light conditioner where the PoE technology is there and Dali also. So this particular controller can connect 8 numbers. That's a maximum, I believe, 8 numbers of PoE lights and 100 numbers of Dali drivers, which is equal to 50 numbers of tunable fixtures. I normally hear people saying a tunable white solution. If I can create a tunable white solution from warm to cool, it's called human-centric lighting. My answer is no. The human-centric lighting can't be same for all applications. Take the case of a patient who is laying down in a hospital ICU and compare that situation with a person who is working inside an office, or maybe your child at the school. All three applications need different level of light deliverance. So I will explain you very clearly. The studio or maybe the office room where I'm sitting right now gives me a light shower at 1 o'clock, 1:30. See, look at here. It gives me a light shower because I'm using it as an office. In an office, after a heavy lunch, everyone, tend to sleep. Or maybe, normally we become lazy. So if I'm getting a light shower at 1:30 or 2 o'clock, whatever time is being set, it's good for me, good for office application. Immediately, if you see that the same situation is happening in a hospital bed or hospital patient, what will happen? He wanted to sleep after a heavy lunch or maybe after normal lunch because he is already in hospital. So there the graphs will be different. So what this Simpilogy patented lighting technology for human-centric is, this technology is available in 3 different application level. So it's a different graph for office, different graph for schools, and different graph for hospitals. Recently, we did one of the big hospital in Bangalore. I think they are into dermatology science. It's an institute come hospital. Most of their rooms are human-centric lighting. I appreciate the decision of those doctors. So they wanted to create an ambience in the room. And, it is even being said, you can have better adaptiveness to the treatment if you are, always laying down under sunlight like color changes. So this can be created through lighting automation. Now, we were talking all these slides, we were discussing most of the cases other than the diffuser sensor, we were discussing all about indoor lighting automation. What about outdoor lighting automation? These days, smart cities applications are coming. Wireless lighting automation. Everybody is talking about IoT. What is IoT? IoT is nothing but Internet of Things. And what is the difference between today's web, which is the internet where we are using? Many people are hearing me, many people are seeing my video. It's on internet, right? We all are using internet to communicate each other. We are sending mails in different languages and we are communicating, uploading videos, downloading videos. Everything is happening in the world of internet. But today's internet is used by human being. So it's called IOH, Internet of Human. Just replace all the humans but with things. What are things? Your air conditioner is a thing, your fan is a thing, your light is a thing, your sensor is a thing, your washing machine is a thing, your fridge is a thing. Anything can be a thing. So just imagine a web of things and things are communicating each other. Come on, your refrigerator is sending a mail to your air conditioner saying something. This is called Internet of Things. Or your sensor is sending a short message to your light saying something. This is called Internet of Things. So things are communicating each other. Now in the world of wireless IoT, there are, IoT can be defined in terms of wired as well as wireless. It's all about things communicating each other. The lighting management system and building management system, what we have seen in Knx and Dali, everything is IoT because there also things are communicating each other. But in the world of wireless lighting, which is used for outdoor, there are three major protocols used for the things to communicate. Protocols are nothing but a language to communicate. Because when we communicate today, I am communicating with you in terms of a language which is English. I can speak in Hindi or I can speak in any other language, which is a way of communication, which I know. It doesn't mean that I can speak in any damn language, but I can, whatever I know, I can speak or I can understand. I may be able to communicate by using that language. Same way, when you get into Internet of Things, the things also wanted to communicate each other. So there needs to be a language which is called protocol. In case of outdoor lighting, the protocols, widely used protocols are LoRaWAN, Long Range Wide Area Network, and ZigBee and NB-IoT, Narrow Band Internet of Things. Now what happens is, I would really appreciate here an Indian company who develop wonderful products and solutions in IoT. We were talking about all European products and solutions. This comes from the Make in India initiative, and I think ESL, Energy Efficiency Service Limited, also has taken the initiative of replacing all the streetlight solutions and making it into an IoT digitalization part of it. These type of solutions are used there also. So you can have a feeder level control by using a wireless automation system. What is feeder level control? This type of control, which is having a power metering and a communication device and a battery backup for the communication device, because it's always wanted to communicate even if a power failure. So this type of controller can be fitted into a feeder of a streetlight panel. So what happens is entire data, I mean the total cumulative power consumptions and the scheduling, monitoring, everything can happen at feeder level from the cloud. So what you can do is this comes with a dashboard as well. So from the dashboard, you can point out the number of such controllers, feeder level controllers used in various locations based on the Google identification, the coordinates. and it can give scheduling and monitoring commands from the dashboard, and it can even get back the data in terms of power consumption and everything. Now, the same system is available at individual level controller also. What is individual level controller? Look at the case of street light. You can have this type of individual level controller on the street light pole. And this controller can communicate. See, most of these controllers are having LoRaWAN, long range wide area network protocol. This can communicate with the gateway, and gateway can communicate with the cloud through LoRaWAN technology. And cloud can recall all the data on a dashboard, and you can do scheduling. And what is scheduling? Just schedule a switch on completely on at 6 o'clock. Schedule a dimming at after 12 o'clock. You can schedule a dimming. Huge amount of energy saving can happen. Most of the smart cities are looking for this type of wireless lighting automation, which is readily available in terms of trending technology in lighting automation. So here is the last slide. I think I'm well on time as well. We discussed switching automation. So you don't need to go for a complex controller system or anything to make it automated. You can have simple sensor, save huge amount of energy. We discussed on dimming and daylight harvesting, standalone sensor again. We discussed on scene control, that Dali Duo technology, which you can use for home automation, conference, office, daylight harvesting, connecting all the devices. We discussed on that. We discussed on building management system sensors, Knx, Dali, Atmo, that 6-in-1 sensor technology and everything. We discussed on Dali 2 standalone, which is the latest technology in the market. I think nobody ever mentioned about this type of product, because this is the first of its kind, which is coming for a wide application, which is a standalone Dali 2. We discussed on ultraviolet, germicidal, irradiation control by using sensors. We discussed on human-centric lighting automation also. So this was most of the sensor part of it. And we very well discussed on the lighting management system as well, which is Dali based lighting management system. And we discussed on PoE, power over Ethernet based lighting management system. And we discussed on the wireless lighting management system, which is used for outdoor as well. Still confused or still wanted to have more knowledge? Those who know me personally, they know my passion for sharing knowledge and wisdom. What we did is, since last 27 years, we continued educating people, not for the commercial gain, because all the educations are happening free of cost. Now, what we did is we created an academy for aspirant professionals, and people can come and then learn. Whatever technology I was talking about is something which we are already using, and we created an experience center. What you see over here is the various type of sensors and controllers which we were discussing. This is the same place where I'm sitting right now. This is a human-centric cabin. I mean, the conference room or office cabin. So why I'm showing this is, if anyone would like to connect me directly, you can note down my number also. And if at all you are looking for this presentation, you can request on WhatsApp. I will be happy to share this presentation in PDF form. We are taking care of VZLF Germany's India operations in terms of sensors and technology. And it's almost 25 years. So 27 years rather. So all of you are welcome to visit this learning academy to learn more in terms of emerging technology. I'll be happy. And the small team what we have will be, we have an enthusiastic young team with us. They also will be happy to take care of you in terms of sustainability, in terms of energy saving, and we will be happy to share our wisdom as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Vijayan. That was great, really great. I was completely like washed away. So there are a lot of people who want to ask you questions as well, like in terms of mostly they're thinking about the lifespan of light, like when we are using the sensors and everything, does it have any effect on the lifespan of a light? number one, and number two, we can take two questions very quickly. And regarding the malfunctionality of any ultraviolet UVGI disinfection management, if can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just noting down your important questions so that I can answer.
Some participants have noted up some questions in the sessions. One is regarding the lifespan of a light due to the sensors or dimming switches. The second is the UVGI disinfection management. Does it have any harmful effect in terms of malfunctioning or something? So if you can just
so let me address the first question, which is lifespan of LED if you are using any automation part of it. See, lifespan of LED, definitely there is a term which is the switching capacity of the LED driver. This switching capacity, there is a limit which is given, the minimum limit or maximum is not given in BIS. So the minimum limit is given in standard. So sometimes I believe it is 4,000 switching or 6,000 switching, depends on the product what you are designing. But trust me, I was in the business of LED drivers almost 8 to 9 years. One of the US company, I was heading their front-end operations here in India. We have seen most of the drivers are designed with a very high level of switching limit. So sometimes we were having drivers which can even take care of 100,000 switching cycles. So nothing to worry in terms of automation. When you are saving a lot of energy in terms of sustainability, it is not at the cost of spoiling the life of your fixtures.
Thank you, sir. That's great. Yeah.
So second question in terms of UVGI, I would like to mention is that's what exactly the sensor technology does. What is happening is it gives a gap of 5 minutes. So if someone is there, let's take the classroom what we were discussing. When students are there and students left for research and nobody is there, sensor could see that for 5 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever we said, it doesn't switch on the UV. It switches on the UV only after 5 minutes because there is a breathing period. And in between, if any security guard comes in or anyone just came back to the classroom, immediately the lights are switched off. So, and that too, such a short exposure, if it is not directly on your eyes, it is not going to harm you like, something like, cancerous or some, it's not going to happen in a short span of time.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah, we cannot take more questions because there is a limitation of time here. So I think that answers most of our questions. And I think if there is anyone wants to interact with you, they can email you or something like that.
Yes. I already given the email ID.
Yeah. So in terms of ASSOCHAM GM program, I was thinking in terms of sustainability. There is never a single moment in this presentation where I thought that it is not energy efficiency or it is not sustainable. It is completely through and through. I can see it is sustainable, and surely like the way the presentation was built up from no sensors to wireless lighting and cloud protocols, that is really fascinating. And I would like Dr. Brajatia to say something regarding it. And it's almost time, sir. So if you can say a few words.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think it was a wonderful session the way the moment it started, and I could not see when it started and when it ended. Because your presentation is so nice, and of course I know him last couple of months, and I heard him 2-3 lectures so far. So there is the reason that he got an expertise how to make even a complicated subject in a simple. And this is what the requirement here, because participants may not be all maybe highly technical, but definitely they are user friendly. And from that angle, I think this presentation was very good. So I must thank Mr. Bijuja, compliment him for his style, and thank you for accepting our invitation on behalf of ISLE and ASSOCHAM both. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank ASSOCHAM team for the making successful this program, including Mr. Shubharat, Mr. Amit Kumar, of course, Pankaj Dharkar is there. He is at the top helm of this one. So my thanks on behalf of ISLE to all of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. So with this, we can conclude this presentation, I guess. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.